Welcome to California in Focus. I'm Eliana Kernodle. The California Legislature passed a contentious bill to allow for undocumented immigrants to use the state's zero down, zero interest home down payment program that provides $150,000 to qualifying participants. Joining me with more on this story is the Center Square's California reporter, Kenneth Schrupp. Kenneth, tell us more about what this bill does and what the concerns are surrounding it.
Hey, Eliana. California has a program called the California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loans Program, which is a fancy way of saying applicants can get, quote, loans of up to $150,000 or 20% of a home's purchase price, which is about what a typical down payment is, with zero down payment on this and no payments. So it's not really a loan. In exchange, the state gets the original loan plus 20% of the gains when the home is refinanced, sold, or transferred. So it's really the state is going to give you $150,000 or up to 20% of the home purchase price in exchange for repayment plus 20% appreciation. So it's really a home equity exchange program with the state. Now, this was funded last year with $255 million, and it ran out of money in just 11 days. There were 1,700 people who went through a lottery process to get to apply for this program. This year, the program did not get any money because the state is in dire financial straits. So what's interesting this year is we decided to allow undocumented immigrants to now apply for this program. Given that the program doesn't have any money this year and already runs out so quickly, some have concerns that this puts a lot of extra pressure on a program that just doesn't have the bandwidth for millions of new people to apply.
So you mentioned it doesn't have money this year. So is it not open this year? Is it going to be open in future years? How does that work?
So let me just go back on an earlier point. This program actually only exists for people who can qualify for home mortgages. So it's not really likely that all too many of the state's illegal immigrants would be able to get a mortgage, right? Again, you have to be able to get a bank loan in the first place. You have to have your income presented. But going back to the question you said, is this going to be funded in future years? The state is facing several years of pretty bad revenue projections. And we do have a very narrowly avoided budget deficit of $47 billion this year. We did get through that through spending cuts, delays, and deferrals, but we probably won't have the revenue for this for some time. And I think what we're going to see is Newsom use what is his favorite tool for legislation that is popular within California, but maybe not so popular nationally, which is to say, we don't have money for it right now. It's a quick, easy answer that helps him look like the moderate centrist on the national stage. His internal party members get to say that they put forward this bill that achieves some of their political or moral objectives, and everyone gets to go home happy. But again, I don't see funding for this program becoming available for quite some time.
And this bill, it's not quite law yet. Where is it in the legislative process?
This bill has passed the legislature and now goes to Governor Newsom's desk for approval. He has to pass or veto this bill by the end of September, which means we're going to have an answer very soon. This may or may not come with a veto letter. If it does come with the veto letter, it probably will say something like, we just can't afford this right now.
And this isn't the only example of recent efforts to expand opportunities for illegal immigrants in the state. What else has California been up to on that front?
We can go back looking at January of this year when the state's taxpayer-supported healthcare system was expanded to include coverage of all undocumented immigrants. That is about $5 billion a year in expenses, could be more. This includes access to taxpayer-funded gender reassignment surgeries. We also just passed a bill a couple days ago that would allow for undocumented students to work at their college campuses. We also just passed a bill going to the governor's desk that would ban cities from requiring voter identification to vote. There was an amendment proposed to that bill that would have explicitly banned undocumented immigrants from voting. This amendment was not successfully added. We do have one city in California where non-citizens already can vote. In San Francisco, non-citizens are able to vote. In San Francisco, non-citizen residents can already vote for Board of Education related elections. The city of Santa Ana has a ballot measure in November that would allow even undocumented immigrants to vote in all local elections, not just education-related city elections. So we'll see if that goes forward and if it survives scrutiny under the state Supreme or even national Supreme Court.
Well, Kenneth, thank you for your insights on these stories. Listeners can keep up with these stories and more at thecentersquare.com.